today, putting on the jersey, stepping out on the field, did that make this more real for you? And what were kind of the emotions that you guys took today?
Yeah, today, it kind of hit me I'm really here. I'm really in the NFL. It's always been my dream. So it's just an amazing and a special feeling.
Is there? I don't know if the right sense of relief is the right phrase, but to be kind of through.
I'm really here. I'm really in the NFL. It's always been my dream. Those words hit different when you know what Casey Concepcion went through just to stand on that field. A knee scope, draft day stress, and now day one of rookie minicamp with the Cleveland Browns. But here's what nobody's talking about. This kid didn't just show up to survive. He showed up to take somebody's job. Casey Concepcion is the Browns' newest wide receiver, drafted fresh out of college and already turning heads on the first day of rookie minicamp. But this isn't just a story about a receiver finding his footing. This is a story about a player who came back from knee surgery, embraced a new city, linked up with Shedeur Sanders on day one, and made it very clear, quietly but confidently, that he is ready. Oh, and Jeudy, you might want to pay attention.
It looked like you were fine out there. Todd said the knee was good. How good did it feel to be back out there doing what you're supposed to be doing?
It felt good. I felt amazing. I feel 100%. I'm just ready to play. Honestly.
What's it like getting out there with Denzel and just seeing each other on the field and getting that first chance to work together?
It's amazing. I actually met him. About the we're getting closer, but us being able to be out there and push each other every day. It is just gonna make us better.
Coming off a knee scope, most players would ease in. Casey Concepcion did not ease in. When asked about how the knee felt after his first practice, Casey kept it simple and direct. I felt amazing. I feel 100%. I'm just ready to play, honestly. Head coach Todd, who had been monitoring Casey's reps throughout the session, confirmed they were being careful, but the message was clear. Casey was cleared, he looked great, and the staff just wanted to make sure they got through the first week without any setbacks. But what made this moment significant wasn't just the physical return, it was what the return meant emotionally. Casey admitted that putting on the jersey and stepping onto that field for the first time hit him in a way he didn't fully expect. It kind of hit me, I'm really here, I'm really in the NFL. It's always been my dream. It's just an amazing and special feeling. That right there is what separates the guys who make it from the guys who don't. Casey Concepcion didn't just check in on day one. He felt the weight of the moment, acknowledged it, and then went to work. And the knee? Not even a conversation after that.
We got this really tall quarterback talking over there. Did you know Taylor Hall before he got here? Just what are your impressions being out there practicing for the first time?
Yeah, so me and Taylor had actually met at the combine as well. He's an amazing person, amazing athlete. He has an arm, he can run. I just have to keep it up for him.
Now here's where things get interesting. One of the biggest storylines surrounding the Cleveland Browns this offseason has been the quarterback room. Shedeur Sanders, the son of NFL legend Deion Sanders, was drafted by the Browns and is already generating massive buzz. And Casey Concepcion, fresh off his first practice, was asked directly about working with Shedeur. His answer? Glowing, genuine, and honestly, it felt like a cosign you can't manufacture. Me and Shedeur had actually met at the combine. He's an amazing person and an amazing athlete. He has an arm, he can run. I just have to keep getting open for him. Keep getting open for him. Not keep learning the system, not build chemistry over time. Casey's already thinking about production. He's already thinking about results, and he's already backing Shedeur Sanders as the guy. This matters because Casey isn't just a hype machine. He's a receiver who has seen different quarterbacks, different systems, and different styles of play. When a new receiver comes in and immediately talks about a quarterback in those terms, arm talent, athleticism, connection, that's a signal. That's a receiver who believes in his QB. For Browns fans who have been waiting years for a legitimate franchise quarterback answer, hearing a brand new receiver say he has an arm he can run on day one of minicamp carries weight. Casey Concepcion just publicly backed Shedeur Sanders as the future, and that's a headline.
He can run, I just have to, keep getting up for him.
I know it's early, but getting out there and working with Denzel and then thinking ahead to working with some of the veterans later on this summer, what do you think about your skill set, about your game is going to complement this offense the most?
I'm very, versatile. I can play pretty much any position on the field, and after the catch, it's electric. I get the ball into my hands. I'm trying to go score. So.
Now let's talk about what Casey said that nobody is fully dissecting yet, because this is where the real story lives. When asked what part of his game he thinks will complement the Browns' offense the most, Casey didn't hesitate. I'm very versatile. I can play pretty much any position on the field, and after the catch, it's electric. Once I get the ball in my hands, I'm trying to go score. Versatile, electric after the catch, ready to play any position on the field. Jeudy is the established veteran receiver on this roster. He's the name. He's the guy who was supposed to be the #1 option. But when a rookie comes in on day one and starts talking about electric after the catch ability and lining up anywhere on the field, that's not a player who came to be a depth piece. That is a player who came to compete, and the coaching staff is feeding into it. Todd already confirmed they're throwing a lot at Casey, testing different positions, seeing what he can do. Casey's response to that challenge? The more you can do, the more value you have. I'm ready to do whatever it takes to help this team. That's a direct path to playing time. That's a direct challenge to the receivers ahead of him on the depth chart. Casey Concepcion isn't sending a loud, flashy warning to Jeudy. He's sending a quiet, calculated one, and those are always the ones that actually land.
Sean, Dylan, who are established kind of veterans of the group, and how much have you kind of been faced with?
Yes, sir. So whenever I was up here the day after I had, my top 30 visit, I said what's up to Shedeur and Deshaun. I texted those guys already. I just met Dylan yesterday, being able to build, and
One of the most underrated parts of this interview was watching Casey talk about how quickly he's been building relationships within the organization and how intentional he is about it. He talked about working directly with Christian Jones on the sideline during practice, who was helping him learn the plays and refresh his understanding of the offense through ball drills. That kind of willingness to be coached in real time, in public, on day one, speaks to character. But it went deeper than that. Casey revealed that during his top 30 visit to the facility before the draft, he had already introduced himself to Shador and Shaquem before he was even officially a Brown. And the first day he arrived after being drafted, he immediately sought out the veterans to start establishing those relationships. I just met Dylan yesterday, he said, referring to one of the veteran quarterbacks. But being able to build those relationships, it's going to be great. This is a player who understands that football isn't just about what happens between the white lines. It's about trust. It's about communication. It's about knowing that when you're running a crossing route with a defender draped on you, your quarterback trusts you enough to throw it, and you trust your quarterback enough to know it's coming. Casey is building that foundation fast. Day one fast. Perhaps the most revealing moment in this entire interview had nothing to do with touchdowns or route running. It came when Casey was asked about something his coach from Texas A&M, Coach Wiggins, said about him, that Casey is a thermostat guy, not a thermometer, a thermostat. For those who don't know the difference, a thermometer reads the temperature in the room. A thermostat sets it. Casey's response was everything. I try to push everybody around me. I want to see everybody win. I want to see everybody succeed. That's a leader talking. That's not a 22-year-old rookie trying to impress a media camera. That is a young man who has been wired from the ground up to elevate the people around him. And in a locker room that is in transition, with new draft picks, new veteran signings, and a new quarterback trying to find his footing, that kind of energy is priceless. The Browns didn't just draft a receiver. They may have drafted a culture piece, a locker room anchor, a guy who 3 or 4 years from now, the younger players will point to and say, that guy made me better. Coach Todd echoed this from the coaching side when he talked about managing rookies. His philosophy was straightforward. Keep them in 1 or 2 spots, let them play fast without overthinking, and don't overload their plate. But he noted that Casey handled it well, lined up correctly, showed his skill set, and impressed the staff on day 1. When a head coach says he was awfully pleased with a rookie on the very first day of minicamp, you write that down. Before we close this out, let's take a moment to appreciate what Casey went through to get here, because the draft process is brutal in a way that fans rarely see. You spend months being evaluated, poked, prodded, measured, and judged. You travel to facilities for top 30 visits, you sit in front of coaches and executives and try to prove in 30 minutes that you deserve a roster spot in the greatest football league in the world. And then you wait. Casey was honest about it. The draft process was definitely a little stressful, but hearing my name being called, finally being here, it's a sense of relief. But here's what he followed that up with immediately. I've got to work. Not, I made it. Not, I'm grateful, now let me enjoy this. He said he's got to work. That's the mindset of a player who understands that getting drafted is just the ticket in the door, not the destination. The destination is a starting spot. The destination is game day reps. The destination is being the guy Shedeur Sanders looks for in the red zone. And based on everything Casey Concepcion showed and said on day 1 of rookie minicamp, he is chasing that destination with everything he has. Casey Concepcion walked onto that field as a rookie coming off a knee scope, in a new city, learning a new system, surrounded by players he barely knew. And he walked off that field having backed Shedeur Sanders as the future franchise quarterback, quietly put the veteran receivers on notice, impressed his coaching staff, and reminded everyone watching why he was drafted in the first place. Day 1 is just day 1, but sometimes day 1 tells you everything. Subscribe to the channel if you want to follow Casey's journey through training camp and beyond. Drop a comment below. Do you think Casey Concepcion starts alongside Shedeur Sanders in Week 1? And hit that like button if you believe the Browns might have found something special in this draft class. We'll see you on the next one.